The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of ESPN Tucson 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, or the Arizona Lotus Corporation.
Spears and Ali, weekday morning 7 to 9 on 1490 AM, 94.9 HD4 ESPN Tucson.
Not in time. They pulled off the shot. We're going to overtime. And Mr. Backer, you're quite prophetic.
Spears and Ali overtime on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, presented by Tucson Federal Credit Union, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans. It's officially Bleep Ali week, also Bleep Justin week, depending on what side of you stand on.
And I'm just having fun being here.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of Bleep Justin week every week, but a little bit more this week because Steelers and Chargers. Am I really the biggest Steelers fan you know?
It's not even close.
Yeah, bar none.
Really?
Yeah,
not
100%.
even
I don't
close.
know why you'd say that. I mean,
The man's literally got Steelers shoes.
with his name on him.
yeah. I love the Steelers. I do. I love my Steelers. And, man, your Chargers first two games playing good football. I think I'm happy with Justin Fields, a quarterback. He's had a couple of big plays called back. He's playing smart football. The Chargers and Steelers top two defenses in the NFL. You've heard the players talk about, trying to go out there and like prove who's the better defense. You got a lot of Baltimore Ravens flavor to this game because you got Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator of the Ravens, now the offensive coordinator of the Chargers. You got the two former Ravens running backs and J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. You got a former middle linebacker for the Ravens and Patrick Queen playing for the Steelers. And Jim Harbaugh brings, John Harbaugh's brother, who coaches the Ravens, brings that tough-minded, we're going to run the ball, play physical football that the Chargers have really never been known for, maybe since Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good game. I think I'm fascinated to watch, and I think it's going to be fun to watch TJ Watt versus Joe Alt, the rookie tackle that the Chargers have from Notre Dame. Rashawn Slater, the left tackle for the Chargers. Did they draft him out of Northwestern?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Him against Alex Highsmith. So that's going to be a fun matchup to watch, but this game is simple. Who can run the ball more effectively and not turn the ball over is going to win the game.
Battle of the Justins at quarterback.
That's right.
I love this game.
That's right. The Battle of the Justins. Well,
This is like my game. This is meant for me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to guarantee you one thing. No matter how the game goes, I'm not going to text you during the game. Like, I'm not the guy that's like, Steelers score, I'll go up 14 points and then I send you the eye emojis. I'm not doing that. I mean, I'll talk to you maybe after, probably not, but I don't know. Like, somebody was asking me, he's like, you know what? We should come to this bar like during a Steelers game. And I'm like, no. Like, what? Why not? I'm like, because we're watching 49ers Jets right now. It was Monday Night Football. And you see clapping guy right there in the 49ers jersey after every play. I would kill him. If that was like, if I went and watched the Steelers Chargers and J.K. Dobbins for 3 yards. There we go. Establish that run.
Yeah, and he's always got a mug of light beer in front of him.
Yeah. Pitcher.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Pitcher.
It's a pitcher for everybody that he's only drinking out of.
Yeah.
That drives me nuts. I will be watching Sunday by myself.
Me too.
In a dark room.
And we'll see how dark it is or how light it is. It's going to be a great game, but a lot of good games this Sunday in the NFL. I mean, you got Dallas and Baltimore. I mean, could Baltimore go 0-3? Is Dallas going to bounce back from that just absolute ass kicking that the New Orleans Saints gave them? Detroit at Arizona, Kyler Murray looking like back to, is Kyler Murray an MVP candidate? Remember when they went 9-0 and that was the talk? He's back from injury looking like that. And Detroit, a lot of people picking them to go to the Super Bowl. They lose a tough one to Tampa Bay last week in Baker Mayfield, but a couple of mistakes by Jared Goff, but they've got a good running game. They've got, Amon-Ra St. Brown at receiver. Can that Arizona defense hold up against Detroit? That's going to be the question there. I think that game could be a high scoring game. And then you've got Who else? Jacksonville and Buffalo. No matter how I bet on Jacksonville to win or lose, they'll do the opposite. It's like, just they're the contradictor NFL team. I can't stand them. And I picked up David Carr on my fantasy team and Jared Goff. So I'm like, I got choices now. I got Goff, Carr, and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor's sitting down this week because he's absolutely been horrendous.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start David Carr.
I'm trying to figure
Derek Carr. God.
Not his brother that got ran out of the NFL.
I'm trying to figure out if I should get rid of Stafford for Goff.
If Goff's available, I mean, I keep Stafford because when Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp come back,
Yeah.
and the Rams got their offensive line is just so beat up right now. In fact, I think the 49ers, even without Deebo Samuels, even without McCaffrey, even without Kittle, I kind of think the 49ers, I don't see how the Rams are going to have a chance. I'm afraid for Matt Stafford because literally they've got like their whole offensive line hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got no Puka Nacua. They got no Cooper Kupp.
And so you're going to run the hell out of the ball, but the Niners have the best rushing defense in football right now.
Do they have the best?
I believe so.
You believe so? I don't know if that's true.
I think they're
probably top. I mean, look, they're a really good rushing defense.
Find out.
Yeah. I would say, I'm sure they're top 5. They got a really good defense. So I can see that being a good game. I'm kind of tempted to kind of make a bet on Brandon Ayuk over on yards.
They do have the best rushing defense in football right now.
All right.
They
Surprisingly, the Bears number 2.
214 yards over the first 3 games. Or 2 games, I guess.
It's pretty good.
I mean, Sean McVay is a great coach. He'll figure out something, put his players in a best position to succeed. But at some point, the talent bears out. And 49ers defense is healthy. Of all the things that are not healthy, the 49ers defense is healthy. And the Rams miss Aaron Donald. Detroit really wore him down in that fourth quarter and overtime when they beat him in game 1. So
the Niners also have the best passing defense.
That's surprising. But the top 2 defenses in the NFL are the Chargers and the Steelers.
How about that? Now, I'm a little hesitant to hype up the Chargers going into this game, right? Normally when it's a battle of unbeatens and you're, talking to your buddy about the game, you're like, oh, the Chargers, we're going to flex our muscles. We're going to show you guys. I'm a little hesitant because of the first 2 games that the Chargers played. They played against the Raiders, which was a home game for the Raiders in Los Angeles, even though it was at SoFi, a lot of black and silver in that crowd. But the Raiders have one of the worst offenses in football. They have a great wide receiver in Devontae Adams who made a couple big plays, but outside of those few big plays, Raiders got nothing going on offense. So Chargers get by the Raiders, and then they play the worst team in football in the Panthers and beat them by 23 points. So I'm a little hesitant to come out and say, I think the Chargers are going to take care of business against the Steelers. Steelers' first 2 games, who were they against?
They beat Atlanta in Atlanta.
Which is a good win.
Good win. And then they beat the Broncos in Denver. Always a hard place to play, but Bo Nix, a rookie quarterback. And Denver's defense played pretty well the second half. Again, a couple of BS calls by the refs. That game shouldn't have been as close as it was, but, Justin Fields made one of the best throws I think anybody's made all year. If Mahomes would have made that throw, people would have been talking about it on national TV when he rolled right and threw to George Pickens.
Chris Collinsworth would have salivated.
Yeah, he would have needed a towel for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the game between the Steelers and Chargers is going to come down to some splash play or a turnover or two because they're both good teams. They're both tough, good teams. It's the Steelers home opener in Pittsburgh. So we'll see, man. You should be obnoxiously cocky about this. Go ahead.
No,
yeah,
I'm good.
Go ahead. Let it all out.
And even if the Chargers somehow win this game, I'm good on bragging about them. I want to see them get to the playoffs first before I start bragging about them.
You should be happy though, man. The Jim Harbaugh effect is real.
They're well coached.
That's
all it. And listen, the glamorous offense with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler. I will take this brand of football. It's ugly. It's not sexy, but it works. I will take this every day of the week and twice on Sunday over what Chargers have endured over the last several years.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I do think it's funny that even on a different team, Mike Williams is still finding ways to fuck you.
Oh man, I didn't even think
Thank you,
about
sir.
that. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. So for the folks that don't know, I'm glad you bring this up, Andrew. So yesterday, Andrew texted Sasquatch Oligarchs. That's the name of our text chain. And he said, "Hey guys, any Thursday night football bets?" And I was like, yeah, I got a 3-leg parlay. I got Garrett Wilson anytime touchdown. But the first one I told you was under on Mike Williams yards. And you're like, really? He's going to get minus or under 27 and a half?
27 and a half.
And I was like,
2 passes.
I feel like it because I feel like they're going to spread the ball around, get other wide receivers involved. I really like Garrett Wilson scoring a touchdown, which he did in the third quarter. I also like Aaron Rodgers throwing for over 1.5 touchdowns, which he did. And we were just a few minutes away from the game ending. And I looked at the box score and I see
rookie mistake.
I see Mike Williams with 18 yards. And I'm like, 3 minutes left. They got the ball. They're going to give the ball to Breece Hall. They're going to run the clock out. They're going to milk it. They're not going to pass at all for the remainder of the game. And then on 3rd and long, it was like 3rd and 9 or something like that, Aaron Rodgers over the top to Mike Williams for like a 15-yard gain. And as soon as I screenshot the 3-leg parlay and sent it to these guys saying, hey, just a few minutes, boys, hold tight, we got this. Mike Williams happened. As soon as I hit send, that play happened. And then I immediately sent, no, my 3-leg parlay got freaking screwed because of Mike Williams.
No, I think it's your fault. You screwed with the football gods.
Kiss of death.
Yep.
You counted it as a victory. And Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator of the Jets, is like, we could do the funniest thing. We're going to beat New England, but let's fuck Justin too.
No parlay for you, sir. That's another L for you, buddy. Freaking hate betting on the NFL, man. I just hate it so much. So hard.
So what are your locks of this week?
Well, I mean, if we want to talk about locks for the NFL, we're just talking about money line here. If we're putting together a parlay, like the teams that I feel very confident in winning this weekend, I'm going with Tampa Bay at home against Denver. I'm also going to go with San Francisco beating the Rams, Detroit beating the Cardinals.
Oh, that's a lock?
That's crazy.
That's
a lock for you?
I wouldn't say a lock.
At Arizona?
It's like we're about to close the lock, but it's still a little loose.
I'm not making a more than $10 bet on any parlay, plus points, minus points, money line on NFL ever again. Knock on wood, I do pretty good with baseball. I'll be betting
just against the Sox.
So that's my so today I'm going to bet against the Sox, and then I'll add one more team to it, and I'll give me plus 114, and that's all I need, just plus money. Yeah. And money line. Don't get greedy. Don't bet the minus 1.5 runs.
Yeah. No run line.
But here's my 2 bets. The Washington Commanders have given up a bunch of yards in their first game to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin in Tampa Bay. They gave up Malik Neighbors' first 100-yard game against the Giants. They're playing the Cincinnati Bengals. I think it's on Monday Night Football.
It is.
One of the two. So I like Jamar Chase over on not just yards, but receptions as well. So I may bet them individually and parlay that. And every time the Baltimore, except for the AFC Championship game last year, so 90% of the time, when Baltimore needs a big game, Lamar Jackson gets out of his shell of, I need to show everybody I can pass. And he does what he needs to do to win, which means running the ball. So Baltimore's at Dallas. Baltimore is 0-2. And I see Lamar Jackson, the over on rushing. Those are going to be my 2 major bets this week. I got another one. I don't want to talk about it because it's in the Chargers Steelers game, but I don't want to talk about it right now.
Okay. The under?
I wonder what's the over on the Chargers.
35.5.
That's high.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I got like a 20-14 type of game.
Yeah.
17-14.
I guess 20-17 or 20-16 is the over. Arthur Smith and the Steelers players, I don't know if, it's just, I think they're right. Like the offense is better. It's more thoughtful. There's a why to their offense. They keep saying that the dam is about to break. We're just right there, run game and pass game. So we'll see. They're playing a formidable defense for sure this week. So, I don't know. It's way more fun watching Justin Fields than it was Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky. I'll tell you that right now.
Man, right now, Lamar Jackson, at least on FanDuel, Lamar Jackson's over-under for rushing is 53.5.
Yeah, I'm going to bet the over on that.
Really?
Hell yeah.
Man.
Yeah, because
that's a lot of yards.
It's a lot. Well, yeah, but I mean, not for Lamar Jackson. He ran for 100 yards 2 weeks ago.
That's true. I guess it was like 77
against Kansas City. He ran for 100 yards.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he ran for the Raiders, but he didn't run as much against the Raiders. I got my Derrick Henry bet. As soon as Derrick Henry got the over on that, I'm like, okay, Raiders, now you can win. I mean, they need to win. I mean, I think I saw this stat since 1970 and the NFL merger. I think only 6 teams have started 0-3 and gone to the playoffs. So it's a must win for Baltimore. But at the same time, why this game is so perplexing is, Dallas is at home and an underdog. I like home dogs when it comes to betting teams. I also like hot dogs at home.
Yep.
So
same.
It's consistent. But Dallas got their asses kicked against New Orleans. I mean, physically dominated. What was it, 41-19 or something like that?
It was 44, wasn't it?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, you get a 40 burger put on you.
You got Derek Carr doing the Michael Jackson dance on you
at home. I mean, you would think that Dallas is gonna try to play their best game to bounce back. I think that's going to be a really interesting game to watch. I think it's an afternoon game, so I'm happy in watching that game, relaxed, but we'll see. But yeah, like I said, NFL, who knows? I mean, we're talking Denver at Tampa Bay, and everybody's like, oh, that's a lock. Tampa Bay at home, Baker Mayfield, they just beat Detroit. See, these are the games that the NFL proves over and over again. There's no Bishop Sycamore dogshit high school team. These are all really good football players. And, for example, last week there were 15 games. 11 of the underdogs covered and 8 of them won outright. So
yeah,
who the hell knows? So I try to stay away from betting NFL. And college, actually. College, the only thing I think is I'm calling it California dreaming this weekend. I'm betting on USC and very much against UCLA because I think LSU is going to
kill him.
In Baton Rouge, going to kill him.
Yeah.
And I don't think Michigan, this is like the preseason polls, why I hate it, right? Michigan is still in the top 20. It's not Michigan from last year. They have a different coaching staff. They don't have JJ McCarthy at quarterback. They don't have Blake Corum at running back. They had a bunch of defensive guys get drafted. Sandistill, their defensive back. I think he's with Cleveland or Baltimore. He's with Cincinnati. So I just don't think Michigan is that good. I guess we'll find out. And I'm just, it's hard to bet. It's hard to bet football when teams and players are really good because anything could happen. And just a couple of bounces of the ball, which I think is going to come down to the Steelers-Chargers games, can decide a game. Unless you're playing like Tennessee's playing, East, some directional school. Then Then maybe you can give up the 44.5 points. They may be good.
The Western Carolinas of the world.
Tennessee, man. Yeah. Tennessee's pretty. I watched them play. They haven't really played anybody, but they're pretty good. Tennessee, Oklahoma is going to be a good game. At Oklahoma, Tennessee's favored by, I think, 7.
Josh Heupel.
Josh Heupel, yeah.
His homecoming.
That's right. Former Oklahoma coach.
And quarterback, right? Wasn't he like a Heisman finalist?
I'm sorry. Former Oklahoma quarterback. I think he was an assistant under Bob Stoops as well before he got the Tennessee job. And, maybe Alabama, Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah.
Jaden Milroe at quarterback. Man, they went into Wisconsin and just kicked their butts last week. So SEC's got some really good teams, but I want to stop with that league as a gauntlet because the bottom half of that league sucks.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's half a gauntlet.
I mean, Mississippi's good, Tennessee's good, Georgia's good, Alabama's good. And then everybody else, but I don't know. And Big Ten, but USC, man, I'm really surprised at how good their defense is this year for how bad it was last year.
Yeah, because they got rid of Alex Grinch. Their defensive coordinator.
Is that what it was?
Who people were talking about, being a head coach. Like, this guy needs to be a head coach somewhere. I'm like, well, he can't even coach USC's defense. They got that, it's not DeAnthony Lynn, the guy from UCLA, who coached with Chip Kelly last year. UCLA's defense was really good last year. That was a big part of their success with Leatu Latu at D end. They got that DC to come over. With Chip going to Ohio State, that DC was in the market. They scooped him up, and it's been a great addition for USC.
Yeah, and Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator at Ohio State now. I listened to an interview with Ryan Day, their coach, on the Russillo show. Man, that guy is so smart, and he's been on the chalkboard at South Point going through plays. I mean, the guy's a really good coach, and him and Chip Kelly have a long relationship. But, talk back to Jim Harbaugh. Then I want to talk a little bit Arizona football with you guys. I'm just happy that, like, I've been able to have experiences that they can never take it away from you. Like when you win a Super Bowl. I'm glad.
No, I don't know. I don't know, Ollie. What are you talking about?
What a dick.
Yeah. Like when you win a Super Bowl, sorry, you're Chargers.
That was not intentional.
Anyways.
No, I don't.
I got to spend 3 hours with Jim Harbaugh in the South Point football office and when he's recruiting our guys. And that guy is such a good coach and so goddamn weird. I mean, he had players come in and like ask them, what do you want to study? And then what schools are you talking to? And then would go down the list from 1 to 20 or wherever the school they were thinking about going to other than Michigan were. So like business school, he would go down the list. Michigan's number 4. And then if the player was thinking about going to Ohio State, he would go 6, Michigan, Ohio State, 21. He would go number 7, number 8, he went through every single school before he got to Ohio State. And I'm just like, you're crazy. This guy's crazy. And then the best thing, man, it's the days when I was chewing. And I have it in my front pocket, right? The circle in your jeans, you can say it. And he takes his finger and he flicks my can. He goes, "What you packing?" And I'm like,
is that chew in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
No. I'm like, Skull Mint. And he looks at me. He goes, nice.
Oh, my gosh. What you packing?
What you packing?
Nice.
Nice.
Like with that face, too?
Exactly like that face.
God bless
It
Jim
was
Harbaugh.
so interesting. And the guy that's the coach right now for Michigan.
Oh, Sherrone Moore.
Sherrone Moore. He brought him. There was those two guys in the office. And he was just hired to be the offensive coordinator. So now that he became the head coach. But I was like, man, that's one of those I'm just never going to forget. And I'm looking like at the other two coaches, Dennis Benet and Al Alexander, who's the head coach of Saguaro now. We're just looking at each other. That was cool. And that was fucking weird, right?
I feel dirty.
I wouldn't say dirty. It's just like this. People use the word surreal a lot. I don't think they always use it the right way. That was surreal. That was like, I'm sitting in an office with Jim Harbaugh, and he just flicked my front of my pants with my can of Skull Mint and told me nice, and did the whole list of like business schools, law schools. Like it was crazy, but awesome experience. And, speaking of good coaching and awesome experiences, I think it's fair and objective to say that the verdict's still out on this coaching staff at Arizona. Mm-hmm. Here's where we can all agree. The head coach of the University of Arizona is a great guy. Genuinely a genuine person, authentic. He cares about his players. He loves to be here. And you know what? He's a good coach. Just from history, he coached. What he did at San Jose State was pretty impressive. He is a good coach.
And let me interrupt real quick and say people are going to look at the losing record at San Jose State. Like, well, he's not a good coach. He had a losing record at San Jose State. It's so hard to win games at that program. And if you win 7 games of back-to-back season at San Jose State, you're a damn good coach. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, no, he is. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, like I said, quoting the great Rich Rodriguez, every man in America, the two things they think they know how to do is barbecue and coach football. You don't know. You really don't. And
yeah. How are you going to get that rub right on the first try?
right. Exactly. Well said.
You gotta know the difference between mesquite and cherry.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Doofuses.
to me, we've got a 3-game sample size, right? So this is what I'm looking at. We have made the same mistakes in 3 games from technique standpoints at different position groups. And so my question is for the assistant coaches, are you stubborn in your ways, or are you able to see where it's going wrong, use this bye week to adjust? And then number 2, again, throw the NAU game out, but at least it's still relevant with what I'm about to say, especially as it relates to NAU's defense with our offense. New Mexico matched, if not exceeded, our physicality. Kansas State did not match, exceeded our physicality. Are we practicing in a way that is making us more of a finesse team on Saturdays or Fridays last week? And are we going to change that up so that our tackling is better, our physicality is better? Because the one thing about everybody's like, stop comparing it to last year. We have a lot of the same players on the offensive line, not the defensive line, but at linebacker and at defensive backfield. We're not as physical as we were last year. And you can't tell me it's all Jonah Coleman and DJ Williams. We've got good running backs. The running back room is good. So I want to see a more physical, and with respect to the penalties, disciplined team on Saturday when we play Utah. I want to see our technique better at defensive end. I want to see a more cogent plan on special teams. That's what I'm looking for. And being competitive, physical, discipline. If Utah beats us, fine. If I see those things, I'm like, okay, we're on the right track. We got the right guys in the right place. And there's a self-awareness there that's going to give me some optimism moving forward.
I'm not going to tell you how to barbecue. I'm not going to tell you how to coach football, but I will say it's very confusing to see this Arizona offense in games compared to what we saw in spring and also preseason training camp. When I went to practices and I saw Arizona operate on offense, it got me so excited for this upcoming season because, yes, you do have the best receiver in college football in Tetairoa McMillan, arguably the best quarterback. I mean, Noah Fafita is a fantastic quarterback. I know he's a little undersized, but I think Noah Fafita will be playing on Sundays. I just think he will find some role in the NFL. Even though you have those, probably the best quarterback receiver tandem in college football, I saw a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of 2 tight ends, like smash mouth North Dakota State, we're going to punch you in the face type of ball, like Big Ten style of football. And we haven't really seen that. Like, I would see tight ends motion and then line up as a fullback and be the lead blocker. We haven't seen any of those guys. And even in the passing game, Kean Burnett in training camp looked like he was going to be a cheat code and he was due for a breakout year. Where the hell has he been? I mean, he had that one good catch against New Mexico, I think near the sideline. But after that, we have not really seen Kean Burnett. I don't know if that's Noah Fafita constantly looking for his buddy T-Mac, or maybe
he spread the ball last year, man. So there's something else going on.
And again, I don't know really what's going on. And I think that there's just a stubbornness to the play calling. And, also on defense too, when we talk about the physicality, and we lauded Dwayne Aquina last year for his wisdom that he implored on the Arizona defensive staff, right? When they brought out the dollar package. I mean, Johnny Nance had brought that in 2022, but you would see the dollar package used. You would see Martell Irby move from defensive back to linebacker. A big part of that was Dwayne Aquina kind of suggesting some things and experimenting things that actually worked. And then against Washington State, which was the game that started the 7-game winning streak to end last year, and the 9-game winning streak, which is the longest active streak in college football before Arizona lost to Kansas State. They brought out the double eagle flex defense where they throw in another linebacker, and that guy was Jeremy Mercer, a transfer from Utah. And he was like an edge rusher, outside linebacker type, but his job in that game was to mirror Cam Ward and make him a one-dimensional player. And after that first drive, when Washington State went all the way down the field and scored with ease, they brought out the double eagle flex defense, and Wazoo was blanked the rest of the way. And that was because of the defensive adjustments that they made. In that game against Kansas State, outside of bringing out the dollar package, I didn't really see any adjustment that could match Kansas State's toughness on offense. And again, I'm not going to sit here and question Dwayne Aquina because the man has coached in college football for a long time. The man was a defensive coach in the greatest college football game ever in Texas USC in that national championship with Vince Young. I'm not trying to question Dwayne Aquina's.
A lot of points scored in that game, man.
That is true. That is very true. But those were the two highest scoring offenses in college football that year.
Yeah,
so
that was a great game.
Best game ever in college football. But you know, that tough
the ever, like the
all time, baby.
all time ever.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
I'm a Bill Simmons disciple.
Yeah.
All time, top 5. But I think that the toughness is lacking this year on both sides of the ball, but it's been very disappointing to see it on the defensive side. I knew that the defensive line was going to be a big question and an area of concern for Arizona, and it really is. That is, in my opinion, the worst position group for Arizona so far this year. Like, you know, Arizona football was lauding Trey Smith and Chase Kennedy, the two starting edge rushers, for leading the country in terms of quarterback pressures. Like, no two players on one team has more quarterback pressures than Chase Kennedy and Trey Smith. And it's like, that's cool that they're pressuring the quarterback, but how about sacks?
Yeah.
How about finishing the damn play? You can pressure all you want, but if it's not translating into sacks, that stat doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, it does. I mean, pressures can cause turnovers, right? I actually saw that stat. Trey Smith is number 1 in the nation in pressures.
Yeah.
And then the Kennedy guy is like in the top 10. But I don't see.
But we only have one takeaway on the year.
Exactly. So I don't know. So those stats, like, I don't know what they're basing it on. It's like PFF grades. You know, somebody can have a great game and it's like, yeah, they got a 58. I'm like, he had 2 sacks in the game and like sealed the edge on the run. But you said the operative word. So I don't see the all 22 tape. I'm not on the sideline looking at the tablets and, you know, what are they doing to us? How can we adjust? But I don't see the adjustments. I mean, it seems like our pass rush is not getting there and not creating pressure. So, you know, we've been saying this since last year. If you have a really super athletic guy on defense at linebacker, then, and he's maybe having a hard time with the play calling or the, you know, being disciplined in his role, make it easy for him. Throw blitz. Put Justin Flo at middle linebacker and have him blitz.
Please.
Put him on the edge and have him blitz. I mean, he is by far the most athletic guy. And then the other thing that I didn't see, and I would love, if you can figure out a way we can get all 22 tape of Arizona games, we'll be able to have a little bit more intelligent conversation. But from what I saw from Kansas State, I saw continuously Kansas State linemen getting to the second level. And basically Jacob Manu, who is our best linebacker, being swallowed up by some 6'6", 330-pound Kansas State lineman. Jacob Manu is a great football player. He has a nose for the ball, but you got to keep him clean. He does not have the frame to consistently shed those kind of blockers and then be able to make a play. The defensive line's got to keep the linebackers clean. And it seems like the defensive line is just doing whatever they want and like shooting gaps. And if you do that, we don't have that kind of defense. That's not good. Our defensive ends are diving inside or going way up the field or creating seams. Those are like, I don't know what's happened on the defensive line, but a lot of the issues on defense, I don't know if it's the players as much as the execution of the play. And if they're either being coached that, which is very troubling, or they are not listening to their coaching, which is even more troubling. Defensive line, you got to do your job. You know, you can pin your ears back on 3rd and 15, but you still got to maintain rush discipline and know what you're doing. So the operative word you use, Justin, is adjustments. I don't know if I've seen it. I don't know if I'm in a position to say that that's a fair or not statement because I'm not looking at the film. But man, if we're not getting pressure, the one thing that I'm seeing is, look, we have 3 game sample size. In all of those games, we've talked about the physicality. In all of those games, our defensive ends have not done a great job.
Mm-hmm.
In all of those games, we haven't done anything to manufacture pressure on the quarterback.
And those athletic quarterbacks are slipping out and running. I was crunching the numbers yesterday, and nearly 280 yards on the ground surrendered to quarterbacks this year.
Man,
through 3 games. Think about that. So the blueprint for beating Arizona, Kansas State showed you. New Mexico showed you in the first game. And how they adjust moving forward, that's going to be something I'm going to be paying attention to. And you can't get killed again against Utah.
No. And Utah, Cam Rising can run.
He can.
He's also a dual threat. I mean, at 35, he's still got the wheels.
Yeah. It's kind of insane.
But, you know, that game, who's the Oklahoma State quarterback?
Alan Bowman.
You know, if you look at Alan
34.
Bowman, who's also, I mean, both those guys are like 27 and 26 or 20, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And they look like pirates. It's the all-time pirate game because Alex.
Oh, Alan
Bowman.
I had to think about it. Well, no, because Alex Bowman's the NASCAR driver from
right,
Tucson.
right.
So I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. So Alan Bowman, ginger like you, he's Redbeard, the pirate, and Cam Rising is definitely Blackbeard, the pirate.
Yeah.
So it's the pirate game of the week.
Well, someone said that Cam Rising looks like the pirate and Bowman looks like the like privateering British naval officer who's sent to go round him up.
That's funny.
That's amazing.
That's also good. So yeah, I want to see, are we using this bye week to take, I mean, you know, Anthony Gimino was on today and he talked about that, you know, 1989, Arizona had the bye week and put in a whole new offense and basically ran all over UCLA, a ranked UCLA team. I'm not talking about like redoing the offense or redoing the defense. I'm actually just looking for, are we making adjustments as far as our, you know, our discipline, you know, if we're not leading the nation in penalties, we're up there. And
they have the 4th most penalty yards in college football.
So that's
the only few teams that have more. One of them is Washington.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So the discipline in that respect, and then the discipline about the most common words a coach says to players at every level: do your job. If you have 11 guys on the field, if you do your job and the guy next to you does his job and the guy next to that guy does his job and we work as a unit, we will be more successful. And I see a lot of guys freelancing and doing their own things.
Yeah. Penalties, stopping the run. Those are some of the 2 biggest issues for Arizona. Also too, you know, keeping Noah Fafita clean. The game against Kansas State, that was the most pressures they've allowed all season long, but I do try to give them a benefit of the doubt because Rhino Tapatotai, I don't think was totally healthy in that game against Kansas State. And on a limited rest or recovery, I mean, he was out for, the end of the New Mexico game, missed the NAU game, and then his first full game as a college football player on the road against a top 15 team. It's a pretty tall task for anyone. And I think this bye week, allowing him to rest up, getting him ready for the Utah game, which is going to be a homecoming for him. He's from Utah originally. So that's going to be a personal game for him. I think getting him healthy is very key. But, man, if Arizona goes out and gets killed again, I think this is going to be pretty much foreshadowing the rest of the season. Because all last year, Arizona only lost by 16 total points in 3 games. Their first loss, they get killed by 24. If they get killed again, boy, this team that we thought could win the Big 12 and potentially get to the CFP, it looks like a Las Vegas Bowl entry for Arizona.
If that. I mean, it's the Big 12. I mean,
they could potentially not even make a bowl game because the schedule, the teams are so much better than we thought.
The Big 12 is good.
But we went into this conversation last year where Arizona was, 3-1, And, they had games against Washington, USC. And then you're like, well, what about the Washington State game? Oregon State is so much better. Like, man, Arizona could realistically lose every game moving forward, but then they ended up winning out. So there's that. But last year's team, completely different than this year's.
Every season is its own book, man. You write every season you write your own story, and you got a lot of the same guys, and hopefully they can get their mojo back. There's missing some mojo, right?
Yeah.
There's some.
Well, I think Anthony Gimino brought it up, or maybe you did when we talked to Anthony Gimino.
Gimino talked about the joy.
The joy.
Yeah.
Like there was like a genuine happiness with this team, the way they play football. The Utah game last year down here in Tucson, you could see that joy in all these guys' faces, and they don't have that right now.
You should see the joy on my face when I was watching that game. That was one of those. I mean, that's one of those, like, they got a turnover, block punt, scored a touchdown on offense. I'm like, we're beating Utah like 21-0. Can you believe it? Everybody's like, this is awesome. We can't enjoy this moment. We don't get a lot of those moments with Arizona football. Last year was a magical year, and that team was really together, and a lot of the same guys, but you still, got to integrate a new coaching staff, and you still got to, like I said, you got to write your own story. I just look, if Arizona is competitive and then is more disciplined in how they play, I'll be like, we're good. We were more physical. We were more disciplined. Every guy was doing his job. Utah just beat us. I'm ready for the rest of this season. So no absolutes. The jury's still out.
Yeah, you Sith Lord.
Yeah, no absolutes. The jury is still out. And but I think that the questions that are out there, we may get at least some answers with the way the team comes out and plays in Salt Lake City.
By the way, real quick before we go, you hear about this Fansville curse? You know about the Madden curse? Like any guy who goes on the cover of Madden, they get hurt or they end up stinking. There is a Fansville curse, the Dr. Pepper commercial.
Really?
Yeah. So apparently DJ Uyaglele was on Fansville. He's awful now. Bryce Young, another Fansville alum, he got benched. Caleb Williams went 8-5 after going on Fansville. And then Quinn Ewers, he's on Fansville this year. He just got injured and now is going to be replaced by Arch Manning this week.
Man.
Fansville curse. Don't drink Dr. Pepper.
Well, you can drink it, just don't go on the commercial.
Yeah, just don't sign the deal.
I love Dr. Pepper.
Honestly,
especially Dr. Pepper shakes from Whataburger.
Oh, I never had that.
Have you guys seen the Oreo Coca-Cola they're doing now?
No.
It's like Coca-Cola flavored Oreos
and Oreo flavored Coca-Cola.
That sounds interesting.
Well,
and gross.
But you know what?
But I'm also going to try it.
I've heard people like to dunk their Oreos in Coke. I've heard of that.
I've never heard of that.
So that's where they may have got. Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper Zero is the best diet drink out there.
Really? I think it might be Mug root beer.
Really?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do a taste test. I've never had Mug Zero.
It's good. You can't tell it's zero.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Straight up.
Never used to like root beer, but now I'm like, it's all
I
right.
don't know what people have against root beer, because I know a lot of people who don't like root beer.
Dude, I saw a guy at Sweet Tomatoes. He got his cup full of ice cream and then went to the soda machine and got root beer. And I'm like, that's a pro.
Yeah.
Pro move. I actually lauded him. I went up to him. I was like, hey, man, veteran move on your part.
Give me that.
Game recognizes game at Sweet Tomatoes.
Well, at Sweet Tomatoes, that's like, at the Iron Chef tournament.
Yeah.
The cook-off between the chefs. If Ken Foy says, man, that dish, well done. It's like kind of a badge of honor. If Justin Spears lauds your whatever you do at Sweet Tomatoes, people know. In fact, I think there's Spears Sweet Tomato stars on the walls.
They keep
Jerry Stevenson put Dr. Pepper on his vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
September 4th, 2024. Spears star. Boom.
Yeah. They keep trying to peel them off, so Justin keeps painting them up there.
Mm-hmm.
When are you going to talk to the manager of Sweet Tomatoes about how they need to be a sponsor of our show somehow? And that you are Justin Sweet Tomato Spears.
They do. We need the sponsor. So Sweet Tomatoes, if you're listening or watching, we're open for business.
Second time you went to Sweet Tomatoes since it opened? Or more?
Twice. I've only been there twice.
Yeah.
Took my girlfriend and also my boss, Brett Farah. We had a work meeting there.
And so what does your plate look like with your girlfriend versus when you go eat with your boss? Is it different?
No, it's the same.
It's the same.
It's the same. I always get a huge, just fat salad. And then once I eat all the greens and stuff, I'm like, all right, give me the carbs. Mac and cheese, some pizza.
I love that you guys think you're doing something when you start with a salad and then you throw bacon bits, croutons, ranch dressing.
No, I actually have a good healthy salad. I'll put some cucumbers in there, some bell peppers. I'd use balsamic vinaigrette. I don't use croutons because I already know I'm going to carb up when I eat this mac and cheese, when I eat those little cheese bread bites. I know I'm getting my carbs in, so let me keep this very healthy.
This is my question then. Just why? You're going mac and cheese, pizza, ice cream with Dr. You're going all there. Why the salad?
So you don't shit as bad.
Yeah.
That's it?
And they also
Fiber.
force you, as soon as you walk in, it's boom, salad bar.
Does it fill you up and so you don't eat as much as the other stuff, or do you just eat as much as the other stuff anyway?
The latter.
Yeah, I don't get it. Why? Just go for it.
I know, but
It's not doing anything.
it's got to.
But it is fun to eat a trash salad.
A trash salad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a full head of lettuce. Just put stuff on it.
The stuff you put on it, you just might as well eat a cheeseburger.
But I won't shit as bad.
And it's without the carbs, too.
Yeah.
Without the bread.
I don't know, man. I'm the guy that's trying not to eat a lot of carbs. By the way, I don't know if you got some sort of filter on right now, but I look really skinny right now. I love it. It's good. Next. Maybe it's because I had a root canal. I haven't been able to eat for 48 hours.
I think I have you on a wide angle.
No, what you're supposed to say is, no, it's normal. You just are that skinny.
Yeah, you're looking kind of, I don't know,
chunky,
bloated.
You look, yeah. Hey, by the way, you look fat in those pants.
I know that.
Yeah.
I had a trash salad last night.
Yeah, I don't get it at all. But so I'm trying to eat less carbs, except for I don't count croutons. So I'll go get a Caesar salad with balsamic vinegar instead of Caesar dressing at a restaurant. And I'm I know you're going to put croutons on my Caesar salad. I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm going to ask you for an extra side of croutons because it's the only carbs I can really eat. And they're okay. So they go out and then they basically, half of them forget. And I'm okay, I told you. I need a side of croutons. And they bring that little white bowl with all the croutons. I'm perfect. So I eat it. I can have a crouton with every bite. Then I put some more croutons on. Delish. It's great. I love croutons.
It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
The crouton carb.
You guys got any croutons?
They're smaller, so I can eat the whole piece of bread, or I can just eat them in little bite-sized portions. It's perfect.
So the moral of the story is we're all lying to ourselves.
I'm lying a little less.
He's definitely lying a little less.
That's fair.
I'm lying a little less.
Yeah,
But yes,
fair.
it's I'm not really eating carbs unless they're croutons, which is bread.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's not as much. I don't know.
Healthy living begins with lying to yourself.
Yeah, I had a salad and mac and cheese and pizza and chocolate lava cake.
Chocolate lava cake.
Sweet tomatoes is the best. So sponsor us, please.
Yeah.
All right.
They have chocolate lava cake?
Yeah, they do.
Huh. And it's made, or we gotta wait for it to be made?
It's made. It's all available for you.
It's all warm and everything?
Mhm.
Wow. Because usually you order that at restaurants, that's going to take 20 minutes. Like the Pizzoni.
20 minutes. Pizzoni. Pizookies?
Pizookie, yeah.
Yeah.
Pizzonis.
I think that might be another restaurant in Tucson.
Pizzoni.
Pizzonis.
Do you what was the place you had that has Vietnamese, Thai, and Chinese food?
It's called Dao's Thai Pans.
Dao's Thai Pans. I got to remember that. Where is it on? Limberlost?
I think it's it's either first in Roger, first in Limberlost. I think it's first in Limberlost. And then the other one is on Wilmot and 5th.
All right.
Dallas Thai Pan.
Right at the end of 5th there.
All right, I'm hungry. Let's get out of here. That is it for this week's episode of Spears and Ollie Overtime. We got college football this week, loaded week 3 slates. We got
NHL
my Chargers.
Preseason. Oh,
His
sorry, you
Steelers.
weren't done.
and NHL preseason.
NHL preseason.
Which-
WNBA playoffs.
Which means Dinah Taurasi might be hanging it up after her last home game with the Mercury. And we're just a couple weeks away from the hockey season, which means Tucson Roadrunner season is right around the corner.
Yep.
And after all that mess that happened this offseason, I'm just very happy that we got hockey here in Tucson still. Tucson Roadrunner is a very important part of our sports history, and it's just cool that we get to go to TCC and watch those guys play. So
Pretty
damn
cool. It's pretty important.
pretty damn cool.
Hopefully we can keep them.
Damn straight.
It's to be. We really need a team in Phoenix. That's really going to be the next 3 years. A team, maybe expansion franchise with a good owner.
It's just sad that they went from the Kachina jerseys to Utah.
Yep. Like going to bed at 9 p.m.
Crazy, man. All right. Spears and Ali Overtime, Apple, Spotify, and also YouTube. Please subscribe, rate, and comment today. And we'll see y'all next week. Thanks for watching and listening.
Go Steelers.
Bolt up.